every damn day.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome inside a brand new edition of the Talk In Audio Podcast. Matt Robinson with you, as always, in the TCA studio in beautiful Bytown, Canada. Joined today by, I was going to say one of our favorites, one of the guys we tolerate fairly regularly. Hoff, appreciate you doing this, man. Chris Hofley is here, and he's had a bit of a day. We've had to juggle the plans here a little bit, but he has still made this happen. So thank you, man. What's happening?
Well, as always, you're welcome. And to the listeners, you're also welcome. We also had some trying to figure out audio things for this little remote situation leading off the top.
This is it. There's been a schedule juggle. There's been a technical juggle.
We troubleshooted that, and we are good to go. And
your grammar today has been spectacular.
Very happy to be with you, as always, whether I can see your face or not, though this actually has some advantages to it.
Of course. And I don't have to give you any beer, so that's even better.
No, that's true. But, I have my own, not compared to your stash. You have a majestic stash of beer, multiple fridges. I think you have 3 fridges.
I got 3 fridges going right now.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a little obnoxious.
It's like going to drunken alcoholic Disney World for grown-ups. It's not bad.
What have you pulled out of your own mediocre stash?
I have courtesy of the Great Lakes Brewing folks. I've got a Canuck Pale Ale here.
Yeah, all right.
Which is just a classic.
Schride's favorite.
Okay, I take it back.
Yeah, I know. And I actually had one on the show just a couple days ago. So,
and even though we're not together, I think you should still be able to hear my. Yeah.
Can't get enough of that Hofley crack.
Parental advisory.
Over here, we're going up to Thunder Bay and the Sleeping Giant Brewing Company, the Skull Rock Stout.
You and your stout. So I do
man.
love that brewery name and the location. That's just like you, a fairly random conundrum of things going on here. But
100%, man. I've had this one a couple times before, and a lot of people will tell you end of June is not stout season, but they would be very wrong, man. It's
only like 27 degrees outside.
People have no idea. That's stout season, man. Look, a couple of things I want to talk to you about, but I don't think we have any choice but to start with the departure of the captain of the Ottawa Senators. Brady Tkachuk is off to the Florida Panthers.
Peace out.
And in return, I think we've already got a little preview of where Hoff's at with this. In return, the Sens do get 3 first-round picks. And I can't even remember now. I messed this up the other day. There was talk it was a second-round pick. Talk it was a third-round pick. Was the 4th piece. I don't know how much it matters. Sens have already dealt the 9th overall pick that they got from the Panthers for William Eklund, who's a very talented winger, who's going to help certainly on the power play and do some other things. I don't know how much we need to get into the details of the actual hockey transactions. I want to get your take on the departure of the captain. And, man, it's been a wild week on Ottawa sports Twitter in terms of how people have reacted to this in all kinds of directions. Where are you at with it?
I mean, I've gone through, a range of emotions about it since I saw it, and none of them were sadness.
Okay.
Which kind of even surprised me. Like, I like Brady well enough, especially kind of in the first few years, but man, I'm not surprised was also not one of my emotions. Like, I think it happened suddenly, but otherwise, like, not surprised, so predictable. Like, again, see you later. Like, you clearly, given how, some of his commentary or lack thereof over the last year and everything with the international tournaments and all the other shit surrounding him and his family and their, general distaste for good PR. I think it's great. I think it's a fresh start. I don't think he was ever going to be the guy to bring this team, not even a Stanley Cup. I think we had kind of hit the ceiling as a team there with him as the captain. Obviously, I don't know what's going on in the room there and the leadership qualities, but it was such a nosedive the last little bit. Mm-hmm. And you could see where his head was and the Olympic focus and just the lack of that gritty kind of shithead all over the place game that he played so well. Injuries and stuff obviously had a factor in it, but I think you could just tell he was so hell bent on playing in the States, playing with his brother. Like, his podcast is not my favorite thing in the world by a long shot. And him going on there and saying that he took Matthew out of the equation while making the decision is the most gaslighting, disingenuous bullshit I've ever heard. Yeah. It's just like, why? Like, I know you guys want to be the Kelsey brothers of the NHL or whatever, but it's such a weird ego machine.
Well, if you're taking Matthew out of it, the Senators finished way ahead of the Panthers.
Yeah,
this year.
so it's like, and by all accounts, there were other, in his limited list of teams that Sens could talk to, there are obviously some options there. But, again, that whole other conversation about why I hate really strict no trade and no movement clauses. If you ask for a trade just kind of because, there's got to be a limit to that stuff.
100%.
You want out, fair enough, but you're like, this 4-team thing where you have the ultimate control over the final destination is insane to me.
I railed against a couple of weeks ago Dylan Larkin, who went to the Red Wings as their captain, and this was before the Brady stuff had come up, and said, "Yeah, it's not really working out. I want to leave. Here are 3 teams," and it's Bill Guerin's Minnesota Wild, and then I think it was Dallas and Florida or whatever. He had 3, and I hate that shit, especially because you're the captain and you are the leading. You're supposed to be the guy, and he had 1 even strength goal down the start. The reason it's not working out is you. Like, you're half responsible for this.
It's Sewer's,
of course, the return,
making the return because they know they're handcuffed, and that's I have no issue really with the return we got from the Panthers for Tkachuk.
100%.
I think I'm a big fan of Steve Stais. I think he's and his level-headedness through all this, and his probably big desire to do his first
press conference was
just
beauty.
Tear another strip off him, but he kind of kept that in check.
Well,
which
and yet
great.
he was also honest. Like, he was more open.
Yeah.
He came and said, "No, this was not a."
But he wasn't emotional.
No,
he wasn't emotional.
He didn't rip a strip off him. He didn't whatever. But he protected the team and the franchise ahead of his former player. And a lot of the talk seemed to have been that they had gone to him and said, what are the odds in 2 years you're going to extend? And based on that question, they decided to move on. And Stais Stais very
like he asked.
Well, this is what I'm getting to though, Hoff. Like that was sort of the rumor going around, and Stais came out and said, no, he asked for a trade about 4 weeks ago. So normally guys aren't that honest and upfront in these press conferences, and he managed to do what he needed to do to protect the reputation of the Ottawa Senators without being an emotional basket case, just being like, this guy, you could never win with this guy. And
right.
Like he did exactly what he should have done in that situation.
And he's a straight shooter to the fan base too, which we've also haven't always had in the city. And so to tell them no, this is
there will be times and there will be things that he can't say and discuss, but when he can, he does.
There's always an element to any big stories that involve a team that the person in charge of the team can say without saying too much. But most GMs or coaches they err on the side of saying as little as humanly possible, which ends up being just I don't know, for lack of a better term, a circle jerk of cliches.
It's awful.
And it's just so, and again, having worked in sports and media it drives me crazy. And I've worked with, coaches and GMs over the years where it's like, I want you to say a bit more. Like, you're a smart guy. You have the luxury of being able to articulate what's going on. You don't have to give away the farm. And then you have some other people involved in sports and players and whatever. They're like, I really want you to say as little as possible for my own stress level. But no, it's refreshing to say, I like the return. We were obviously handcuffed. It was going to be some kind of distraction, and so we pulled the trigger and no regrets. And then he doesn't waste any time and flips that into a really good trade for a really good young player that can come in and they're definitely still a couple of pieces short of where they need to be. But I think this, the fan base meltdown on one side or the other is so, I just find it all hilarious because I'm still in my mind, I'm like, it's fucking sports. But
you have the luxury of it being, even though you're not still working for teams, having seen how the hot dog gets made.
Seeing how the hot dog's made, exactly, right? And I'm just like, you know what? I just want a team that's good and competitive and is fun to watch.
But let me ask you this, because you said some things there about Tkachuk that I'm not sure how much is fair or unfair. Like this idea that he couldn't win with him and he was this sort of thing, he would never be the captain. That some of that seems to be new in the fan base, and I wonder how much of that. And I'm going to use a word, an internet word that people get up. How much of that is real and how much of that is cope, right? Like, fuck you left. And look, any sports fan gets that, right? Like, you want out of here? Fuck it. Yeah.
I think it's somewhere in the middle,
Yeah.
honestly. It's a good question because it depends who you ask. I've never been, like, I like Brady. Like, I think he's entertaining, especially early on, but I never had that sense that he was Alfie.
Right.
Reincarnated.
And that's the measuring stick here. For
And
better
it
or
is
worse
the
in this
measuring-
market, that's the measuring stick.
It is a high
one.
But,
it is.
And you don't have to get right to it right away. But like it is.
That is where we will judge you based on.
And he was the ultimate captain, which is why, like, again, like, and especially when the Sens pick a new captain, it's like it doesn't have to be your best player, your top scorer. Like, there has to be more thought put into it in terms of like the intangibles of a good leader, which is easier said than done. But like to just go, star player, next big thing, captain. Like, I'm sure Brady's a great guy in the room. There's nothing to suggest that he's a fucking dickhead. Like,
the lack of support for his Instagram posts suggests maybe he wasn't.
And maybe not.
And that's not. We can't hang our whole hat on that. But
that's hockey sports speculation. That's
of course it is.
Because
that's
no
all
one's
there is.
Going to really know. But I think, I think it's a bit of both. I think people are like, see you later. But I think also fans are, when they are invested in the guy, and I feel for like young
100%
fans, like the kids who are like, I begged my dad for a jersey.
Just this Christmas, I wanted a Brady jersey, and he's gone 6 months later.
And he
Fuck
seemed
that.
like a guy.
Yeah.
He seemed like a guy that could be there for a long time, depending on how things shook out. So that sucks. Like, I get that.
You're probably
100%.
the same type of sports fan I am, as an old ass. I believe the term we've settled on is geriatric millennial.
Well, yes,
yeah, it's gross, but it's reasonably accurate. If these days, if I'm getting a jersey, like, it's a Wendell Clark, it's a Matt Sundin, it's a Curtis Joe, it's guys who can't hurt me anymore.
No, and
right?
I would never get a personalized jersey to begin with. Like,
Okay.
I maybe if I bought one at like a charity auction or something with a player that was.
And the only thing that's made me come around on that a little bit, and poke fun if you must, and it's totally reasonable, is I have a William Nylander jersey, and my great aunt, who is getting up there, but she loves Willie, and it's because he's a cutie and like all these, and she calls him her sweetie pie. And that has now caught on across our family. Everyone calls him sweetie pie. Now,
Are you jealous because she doesn't call you sweetie pie anymore? Like,
she has some nice nicknames for me. When she forgot my birthday this week, but she. I know.
So did I. Happy belated.
Thank you for that. But now my niece gets a Nylander jersey, and my mom gets a Nylander. Like, I'm going to get in on that and I do like Willie. Like, genuinely, he is my favorite Leaf. But I normally maybe wouldn't have gone there. But it's hard. Like, I'm a grown-ass adult, and I have the ability to go, you know what? I remember Curtis Joseph, and he's not going to ask for a trade in 2026, so that would be a safe jersey to get. If you're 10 years old, and you asked for the Brady Tkachuk jersey, and 6 months later, that guy's asking out, like, that sucks, man. That genuinely sucks.
Yeah. Totally sucks because and the way it all went down, it's like, you're gonna put that on your wall next to your Alfie jersey? Probably not. And that is too bad. I totally get the impulse to do it. I'm such a team guy when I'm a fan of a team. Maybe a former player or a legend. Like, if someone offered me the chance to get a signed Alfie jersey for a good cause,
good looking Patrick Lalime jersey.
Yeah, honestly, but. Like something like that, like a more sentimental thing, sure. But like the idea, like I've never had the impulse when I've cheered for a team to be like, I need this guy's jersey. And even less so now as I've gotten older and worked in the industry where I'm like, it's so transient and it's so like, and contracts don't matter the way they did at one point. And it's such a money pit that like, I'll do custom jerseys in other ways. Like when my grandmother was still alive and she turned 90, and I got her a REDBLACKS jersey with Mammy, which is what we called her on the back, like that. And it was
with
like
the
an
number
extra
90. Tell me the number 90.
yeah, 100%. And she was like this 4'10", like fiery French Canadian woman. So it was like an extra small, and
Yeah.
it was, and she loved it. That 100% totally worth the money, and she never got traded from anything. And so that it sucks. Yeah, like the whole thing is just a weird way to go down for a guy that was so out there and passionate about.
And even like
come to Ottawa and
the style of player he was, right? Like he's physical and he's going to get in, and like all of that stuff made him easy to love. And even some of that, I don't know. Like I want to be fair to the guy. I don't know how injured he's been over the last bit. Like coming out of Four Nations, coming out of during the playoffs last year against the Leafs. He clearly wasn't himself. So I don't want to be unfair, and yet at the same time, like those are the physical things that made him special, right? That made him
Brady at his best. Like
the term we're using, everyone is overusing, is unicorn, right?
Yeah,
and it's fair.
It's everything you want in a player. If he's him at the top of his game, he can play up and
and that's
wherever
so
you put him in the
easy
lineup,
for a fan base to fall in love with, right? That
so
type of guy,
because that harkens back to the old school days of the
Mike Fishers, right? The Chris Phillips,
and the real power forward type guys,
sure, yeah.
And the guys you just want to mix it up and just have a guy, like a whole team wanting to stab you in the face with their hockey sticks because you're just that much of an agitator. Yes. Then you go out and Chris Neil, I love for that too, because he would go fight anyone. He'd back his guys up, but he would still have seasons where he'd pop in 10, 15 goals.
Yeah, he could play.
Yeah, it's like the Bob Probert style of I am the toughest guy ever, but I will also be kind of up the lineup and scoring, and I'll kill a person for my guys. So which is maybe a little bit less cocaine.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I have this stat wrong, but I think he's the only guy in NHL history to have 30 goals, 30 assists, and 300 penalty minutes.
I think so.
What a motherfucker!
I don't know if you read his book, but Probert's book is incredible. It's such a story, and that's obviously very, those days are long gone. But some of these guys who are the real powerful, feisty shithead dudes that put up big points are just it's an old school style in the modern game, and it's so fun when it's going well. So and I think injuries for Tkachuk, I think for sure played a factor, but I think also what you see online a lot, which I kind of agree with, is he talks so much about the Olympics and playing for the States. And I think that was a distraction for him. Like some players can separate the things like that, but he was so hell-bent on that.
There's been a lot of talk, Hofley. You would have been the guy in Ian Mendez' shoes for the Senators coming out of the Olympics. And I highly doubt it. I don't know. Maybe there would have been some. I highly doubt that Senators fans boo the American national anthem if it's just about Team USA won the Olympic gold medal. This is the White House thing. This is the MAGA thing. This is the 51st state thing that has been going on for over a year now. And I don't know how many of these guys, I got to be real with you, Hoff, I don't know how many of these guys are capable of separating it. I don't even know if it matters. If I'm Brady Tkachuk or Connor Hellebuck or Austin Matthews or Lane Hudson, go across the country, if you're booing my national anthem, I don't know if I care why. I'm trying to be fair, right? I'm trying to be a little...
it's true. It would suck if if the roles were reversed and you're a Canadian guy in an American team and you're not sure. I think it's suck it up a little bit.
Sure.
Because and also it's a lack of understanding of it's not about you.
Right.
And
I still cheer when you score and when you fight and when you're announced and all these things.
It's a respect thing. I was whether you voted for him or not, you're,
you have to understand why Canada would be pissed. Yeah.
Your commander-in-chief calls our prime minister, governor. And, no, it's a respect thing. And so it's a group way to, and it's so Canadian because we're so not going to start fights in the streets. But it's we're going to
I will make loud noises at your song.
We're not saying that, I have family in the States and America, that are great.
Sure.
And they're mortified about everything. And it's not about them. I'm not saying every American is a
of course
garbage
not.
person.
Of course not.
So the the hyperbole around it is so insane. But
it would be
again,
hard to go through that every night.
It would,
right?
but also like the money's a soft landing too. That's why I mean you have to suck it up a little bit. Like you're a god amongst the fan
That's
base.
what the money is for.
Your national anthem, which probably shouldn't get played in NHL arenas in general because of all the nationalities that are in the
True
league.
enough, yeah.
Like,
are we doing the Finnish and Czechia?
Just get over it and do the thing that's your job. Like there's lots of shit in jobs that I've had where you have to eat it.
Sure.
And you don't agree with it.
No.
We're like, I'm the employee. You're paying me to be here. I want you to continue to pay me to be here because I don't want to live in a box. So I'm not going to have this, like, I'm not going to go start a podcast with my brother and be like, my boss is being an asshole today.
I'll let my dad say it, though. Let me ask you this. As a Sens fan, there will be conversation here throughout the summer, unless they choose to jump on it and get ahead of it earlier than I would expect, about a new captain. And I wonder, because I don't think it's unreasonable that Jake Sanderson would be in the mix. I think we're talking about Shabbat, we're talking about Stützle, we're talking about Sanderson. Those are probably the three guys. I guess you could do Giroux, but I don't know how long anybody believes he's going to be around. It's probably not worth it.
I think we're going to align on this one pretty well.
Would this give you any hesitation to give the captaincy to, by association only, basically, or by birthplace only? I'm not comfortable giving the captaincy to Jake Sanderson, or no, that's one guy, this is a different guy. I'm totally fine to go down this road again. Where are you at with this?
Honestly, I want to give it to Ridley Gregg just to troll the Leafs.
Yeah, that would do it. Fuck that guy.
No, honestly, I've talked to a few people about this, and because I was like, why didn't you mention Sanderson in the list? And they're like, oh, it's got to be Shabbat or bust. I'm like, says who?
Right.
I don't know. Really is the short answer. I think in my mind, like the logical choice is someone like Sanderson, but I also don't know anything about those guys as much in like how they are.
Right. No, we don't know what they're like as teammates.
I want the leadership quality to be evaluated and not just be like, you're the next big thing. And who knows? Giroux, I mean, he'd be a great captain, but again, if you get him back, it's going to be for one more year,
right.
Realistically. So you don't want to have a revolving door
patchwork,
captains.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it comes down to Shabbat or Sanderson, and I don't know what the
You don't have
dynamics
Stützle in the mix?
No.
That's fine. I was just curious.
Not yet. I don't think. I don't know why. That's just kind of a gut thing.
Sure.
I think he's such a good player, and he's just like he's had a couple years of struggling when shit goes crazy or like the lineup gets shaken up, and you need someone who I think is a bit more established,
unshakable
unshakable, and that's why I often like defensemen as captains because I find that build is.
Yep.
It works, but I also don't know. Like, if you give it to Sanderson, does that anger Shabbat?
There's been some suggestion if you don't give it to Sanderson, that might anger him.
Well, that was going to be the flip side of that. Like, because people are like, "Well, Brady's got. Are you going to give her to Sanderson?" No, like some of the storylines are so just wild. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I know you have to have a captain going into the season.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, because some teams will go a year or so without.
I don't like it. I never like it.
Okay.
Unless there's really, really not a logical choice, in which case your GM sucks and probably should reevaluate how. Like, I think you need.
But we had this conversation in Toronto when they were arguing: is Matthews ready? Should you just give it to Tavares? My thing was, don't pick between them. Just give it to Morgan Riley. He's been here a long time. He's a good guy in the community. And like you said, for some reason in my mind, defenseman is just more steady, just more level-headed. I don't know why, but
and Morgan Riley just seems like a kind of guy who it's not like things aren't too big for.
Right.
Like, it's just you have to be able to handle a thing, which is also why I don't like brand new baby captains that are just coming out of their rookie year. Like, it's just it's a big responsibility. I'm not sure it should be. Like, I think everyone should have a role in the leadership thing in the perfect world. But I think the ceremony of having a captain and what that gives that person is so important. And I don't like having an ambiguous leadership group.
I don't envy the Sens here because I feel like they're backed into a corner, because I think if they don't give it to Jake Sanderson, the narratives, as they do around any team, will run away that they didn't trust Jake Sanderson, another American, he might leave, who knows.
Yeah.
And if they do give it to him, it'll be, so that they satisfied him, right? So
Yeah.
that they I think that's a tough spot to be in.
You can win,
No.
and I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here because I do feel like you need to have a captain going into the season, but there's not one single person on that team that I'm like absolutely
Right,
100%
slam dunk. That's our guy.
But they may have a different idea internally, right? Like you have no idea. Maybe Sanderson is a friggin' incredible leader who's like,
Sure.
like helping the equipment guys carry bags out when he doesn't have to, and like making guys sandwiches for no reason. Like it just like little things go a long way in those roles. And I think obviously those probably 3 guys and Giroux are going to make up the leadership group
Yep.
in any capacity. But I think you need to have someone that's just a tiny bit above the group to have that cohesion. In theory, if it works well, it's great. If it
Sure.
doesn't, then whatever. But
one-
I think maybe Stützle in a couple of years, but I just don't. I think he still needs to really
Well, he's going to be asked to do some heavy lifting on the ice here now for a while.
exactly.
I don't know if he needs
do
the
you wanna
extra.
give
yeah.
a guy an extra bit of responsibility when you don't necessarily have to.
The one
Give
thing,
him an A. Give him an A.
sure, yeah,
100%,
no,
but
he's
like,
part of the
yeah.
leadership group here.
Yeah.
You're part of the core.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. We have talked about a couple different elements of this: the patriotism element, or the nationalism element, whatever else, the brother of it all, the podcast of it all. There is one persistent narrative that kind of goes up and down, but it sticks in my craw in Ottawa, of all places, that the media drove Brady out of town.
It's so stupid.
This is just not that tough of a media market. Like, if
It's
you
not
can't
at
handle
all.
this.
And the shit, like, I mean, I know Claire Hannah well.
Yeah.
I've worked with her. I love the girl.
Yep.
I think she's fantastic at her job. And the shit that she gets online makes me want to fight people. Like, it's so over the top and so petty and catty and just.
Well, the other guy who was getting it pretty
gross.
bad was Julian McKenzie towards the end of the year for asking just simple follow-up questions.
Well,
and you're like,
yeah.
this is just do it. If they want to have the podcast, that's fine, man. You get to do that. But when you say things publicly, you're going to be asked about it. Like, that's not somebody harping on this. That's not somebody driving him out of town. That's going, hey, when they said your ice time is down and, you didn't really push back, do you feel like that's a problem for you? You're going to be asked that. That's not an unreasonable question.
I do really think that there's only pretty much 2 teams in the league that the media has ever, and it doesn't happen a lot. I don't like the media push me out of town narrative. This goes back to my suck it up, you make $10 million a year thing. But I answer the questions. It's way easier if you just answer the questions than try to dodge it. But I think Toronto for sure in some ways, and I think Montreal, especially for like French Canadian players. I think, and Canadian guys in Toronto, I think it's the only place where the media.
The only other thing I would throw on the list is it sounds like Vancouver can push hard, right?
Vancouver can push hard, but like the rest of the country doesn't pay attention.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's like it's far away. But I think Toronto's unique in that, number one, like there's some talking heads and some columnists and people that are just out there to antagonize guys.
Yes, there are. Yes.
There's not that many reporters that are like that, especially anymore. But those guys.
Well, can I tell you Brian Burke's position on this, right? Just as someone who worked for the Leafs for a while, he goes, I didn't feel like any one person, except for Steve Simmons, who he was very open that he didn't like. And in fact, in his farewell press conference, said the best part of
not a small group.
No, but in his actually farewell press conference, he goes, the best part about today, Steve, when Simmons went to ask him a question, is like, I'll never have to talk to you again. But what his opinion was. He said, it's not that any one reporter in Toronto is super harsh or that anyone is. It's that there is so many of you that when we go into a 6-game losing streak, everyone picks up a rock and you may not all throw it at Phil Kessel. Like it may get.
Yeah.
Some of you will throw it at Reimer. Some of you will throw it at Phaneuf. But there are so many rocks being thrown. It's
a really aggressive media market for no reason.
Or it's just a really busy, like a really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but the smart ones will be like, let's take the attention and like run with it. And because if you do it the right way, you can use that kind of attention and that aggression. And Toronto's just.
But Ottawa is not that. Like there are days, like especially when the CFL season, or if Claire Hannah is on assignment at the World Juniors or something, there's like 3 people there.
And it's not. And even when there's a full group of media there, it's not like you're not walking the plank. Like it's, and it is a good, like I know so many of them, and I have no, like it is a good group, and no one. And the thing people don't seem to understand is that with some exceptions, and they are the exceptions, the media just wants to do their thing and go home. Like
it's just like a job. It's their 9 to 5, man.
They're not getting off on like making a player pissed off in a scrum. It actually makes your job so much easier or harder when a player is
now he's not going to talk to you, and the PR guy's pissed at you. And
it's really beneficial to not do it on purpose.
Just such a dumb narrative.
You're going to have that adversarial thing in certain situations. That's fine. That's part of that.
If you've really messed up, somebody's going to have to call you. It's going to be unpleasant. But
the personal shit is insane. No reporter, like, that should ever happen. Honestly, with athletes, I don't care what your political beliefs are until it becomes like this constant talking point.
Yeah, until it's the story. Yeah.
And like, I'm not so naive to think that like I'm going to agree with the politics of every player on every team that I cheer for. That's insane.
Yeah.
But if it becomes,
I flat out have no choice but to assume guys making that kind of money. Like, if I look at the Blue Jays, I assume like 80% of the Americans on that team are Republican. That doesn't have to be a deal breaker.
And then we talk about like people want diversity in sports and, you know, racial and, you know, all that kind of diversity and like being open and welcoming to every walk of life, a person who can play the game. So the flip side of that is you're going to get people that are the best of the best that you're not going to agree with politically, and who gives a shit.
Right.
But when it becomes something on either side of the spectrum where it's just, that's all we're talking about.
Yes.
That's the only time I'm like, you know, it's sport. Let's just play the sport. You don't have to be spokesman for every big cause. I love it when people that are well informed in any capacity in any job come out and speak passionately about something. But when it comes to how fan bases treat players, it takes one soundbite for both the media and the fans to go off and be like, oh, that's all we're going to ask for. You're trying to make the playoffs. You're going to be like,
this is it.
Does your whole family vote for Trump? Like,
you're distracting them from making the playoffs. Like, stop it.
Let's just stop the whole thing and do the sports thing, which is super naive and is never going to happen. But
I also think the idea of accusing the media of, I did see one tweet. And look, I saw a bunch of them in this area, but the one that sticks with me on the day after Brady was traded, congratulations, Ottawa sports media. You did it. You finally drove him out of town.
I saw that,
you moron. Like, that is not what happened. And if it is what happened, you are talking about the softest cock in the league. Like,
and Brady is not an idiot, and he's not, like, there's some parts of him that are probably not as well formed, but it's just like, and you have people around you, like nothing like that no player leaves just because of the media attention, except maybe Mitch Marner, which I honestly don't blame the guy either because it sucks to be the scapegoat in any context. And if you're the singular focus of the hate, it's like, fair enough. You want a fresh start? Fine. But this whole thing of like media do you think the 60-year-old reporter who's about to retire has a vendetta against the 20-year-old
going back to the newsroom to write his story, and then he's going out for dinner with his wife or whatever?
This 19-year-old's voice didn't drop until 4 years ago, but I hate him because he hasn't scored in 5 games. So I'm gonna go.
It's a 9 to 5.
His family and his no, they just want to do a job. They want people to read their shit, so they're gonna have everyone's gonna have a different way of approaching it, but like the personal stuff makes me crazy. It's none of your business. It's none of. I don't know why we care.
Well,
and then people wonder, like, why aren't there more like openly gay athletes? And I'm like, well, I fucking wonder. Like,
look, I'm gonna let the Mitch Marner thing just pass me by.
Just let that go.
And it's time is not our friend. I do want to talk some CFL with you, man, because
please.
This market is also not in a great place with the CFL right now.
You're just getting me riled up this whole show today. I love it because I have so many thoughts.
Well, so many feelings. I don't know how many thoughts you have.
I have stuff.
Look, the REDBLACKS at this point are 0-2. I think, like most people, I was encouraged by bringing in Ryan Dinwiddie to, steer the ship last fall. I thought that was a smart move. I think 0-2 is too soon to write off the season, but as has been the case for a while, we're seeing some familiar alarm bells ringing, and now we're down to 13,000 people on a Saturday afternoon at game 2 of the season for the Red Blacks. Like, where is this franchise at right now? Take it wherever you want, man. On field, off field, like, because it feels bleak.
I want to punch myself in the face.
I want you to do that too.
Like,
if you need help,
like,
I'll come over.
And like, I'm good. Like, I did the PR thing and the media thing for this team for 8 years. Like, I'm good at finding positives.
Yes.
But I'm struggling. Like, I really am. And it's, again, contradicting myself when it's like, it's just sports. Let's relax. Like, this one, I spent so much time with this organization. It hurts me to my core to see kind of this, again, 2 games in, but this, like, you know, PTSD to being your own worst enemy again. It's just, it's so not a good thing. And I know this organization wanted to and needed to come out of the gates swinging in those first 2 home games. And it just didn't happen. Like, it sucks that you had bad weather your first game, because that happens at every Ottawa game, but the other team is also playing in the rain.
I just assume if it's raining, it's a Red Blacks game day.
Right? Like, it's just, I don't know what it is now. Like, the last time I think I was on with you preseason, we talked, like, I still like the Dinwiddie hiring.
Yeah.
I still like, on paper, kind of the roster overhaul idea, but it's not connecting. I don't like what happened with Drew Brown and Jake Mayer at all.
Tell me about that.
I just think it is a bizarre thing when you have a guy that, granted, like, not that you've had like world-ending success over the last year and a half or 2 years that he's been here, but for a guy to get replaced as the starter without having played in the preseason at all is like, it's just so, I don't know if I've ever seen it in the way this kind of went down. It sort of
feels like Dinwiddie just came in with a preconceived, this is
he did. I think that's my thought. Like, even the way he spoke about, like, initially, like, you know, Drew's our guy now, but there's going to be competition. And I'm like, ooh,
yeah,
that
was not an endorsement.
No, I wouldn't get the warm and fuzzies from that if I was Drew. And this, like, I'll preface this by saying I never really worked with Drew. Like, he came in kind of just after I had left. Like, we might have overlapped a tiny bit. But
you were,
and obviously never worked with Jake and never worked with Dinwiddie. But it's a bizarre thing. You could tell that he was leaning that way as a coach.
Well,
and
it's
GM.
so odd, man.
And I like a coach, GM, OC. Like, he has a lot of say there. But again, Jake Mayer's a guy that, like, he's had some success, not a ton of it. He hasn't been around that long. He hasn't really proved that you could just walk onto a team, play well in half a preseason game, and look, be like, you're the guy.
We saw 2 regular season games where Ottawa lost, and Dinwiddie was asked about it, and he goes, no, I don't see us making a change. And that was becoming a talking point. This was, all people were like, you got Drew Brown here, can we at least get a look? And all of a sudden, traded, and you're like, fuck you. That's what I think of that, right? That's how that came across to me. Hey, why can't you give Drew Brown a start? Fuck you, that's why. And we'll just trade him. And
then Dinwiddie's most recent comment saying, you know, like, Drew asked for a trade right away after we had said Jake was the guy. I was like, well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like, you've, like, paid this guy to be a starter. He's shown when he's healthy that he can be a starter. I'm not saying that if you go with one or the other, it's going to make, who knows?
Sure.
But it's just an odd way of managing it.
It really was,
you could have easily started the season with Drew, and if it had gone to shit, then gone to Jake, and no one would really have anything to say about it.
That's right.
They would have been like, okay, we got to make a change. Versus now, you not only get rid of...
And as the new guy, you would get to go, see? Like, you would kind of bolster yourself as that much smarter than the room, right?
And
like,
you don't... So now you don't have Drew, was even willing... It's telling that he was willing to go back to Winnipeg and still be in a backup role. He's been there, familiarity. You know, Caleros has had his share of on and off again injury stuff, so maybe better chances. But for him to say, like,
once
I don't
you
be a
know
backup
the coach
here, but I'll be a
like
backup.
you.
I'll be a backup there, but not here.
Yeah.
Shows that the conversations didn't go well.
That's right.
Clearly. But now you're in a situation and it all kind of locked into place when they brought in McLeod Bethel Thompson. Because I'm like, oh, he's a Dinwiddie guy.
Yes.
Which is is very regular in the league. With
I think we were all afraid that other Dinwiddie guy might have been the one brought in over the offseason.
That I wouldn't have been able to talk about on your show, because I probably would have gotten sued for something.
Well, if it helps, we'd have both been sued.
We'll just blow past that. But no, I think now, but Bethel Thompson is, hasn't been in the league this year, so he's wrapping shit up at home, and so he's not going to be here even for the next game.
Right.
And so they've got a 24-year-old, I think, rookie backing up Mayer, and then you're going into a short week where McLeod will be there. But again, he's got the playbook now and stuff. Fine, but it's just like third game coming up. It's just not. Oh man, it's tough, and
you're already staring at a bad spot again. Like,
you're playing from behind already, and there just doesn't seem to me to be that like outwardly looking in, like just that kind of vibe that you need. That's just when you see something clicking, and it's I'm worried. I'll always be cautiously optimistic because this league it takes one game to get rolling and blah blah blah. But
and as of next year, you only got to win one game to make the playoffs. So that's
sweet. Jesus, like that's a
yeah. We don't have time for that today, but
like it's so much. It's a whole rich tapestry of things in our league right now that I'm very articulate.
100%.
We could have 3 shows on.
We will,
some of this stuff. But I'm worried because you got banged up guys. You've got.
Well, zoom out for me a little bit, man, because you would have been partially responsible, mostly responsible for the message from the team out to the community, but also somewhat responsible for controlling what the community thinks of the team. And that seems to be falling right now, dwarfing right now. And look, I don't want to have the same conversation that everyone has all the time. Like, when it's good, like Friday night at the stadium on the river, like it's such a great vibe. It's not anymore. And people are over it. And the team stinks. It's stunk for a long time. I'm just sort of curious.
The only thing
I do think there was a boost in excitement with Dinwiddie. Like, this guy's a winner, right?
There was a brief.
But here we are back in the time where you actually start playing games again, and you're 0-2, and you're trading quarterbacks, and you're just like, holy fuck, here we go again. What is the situation in the market?
I know how hard the people that work in like the marketing.
I am not taking a swipe at any of those people.
No, I'm just prefacing by saying like I know like not all of them were there when I was there, but I know just how that functions and how hard it is.
Yes.
When I was there in comms and working with the marketing department, when the team's not doing well, how hard it is to keep a message on track and positive. And that was like, tough years coming off great success. So we still kind of had some of that honeymoon phase for a while. Where we still had some goodwill there.
And it was still new, like it was novel, the team itself.
It's so hard for people in the creative world, for the brand and the messaging to, like, I cringe every time because you have to do it, but like after a bad loss, like the last one, like the next day, it's like the team posts like, the highlight pack from the REDBLACKS site, which you have to do because you need to have fun out there, but it's like, holy shit. Like,
nobody wants to hear it right now.
And the comment, you just get eviscerated for it. And it's tough, man. Like there's no real way. The only thing, nothing you can do from a brand or stadium experience or construction can do anything to turn this kind of whole ship around and attendance around, except for winning games.
Just win.
Like it's so like sounds so obvious, but like you have to win games because people don't care now if you can. There's a band, or you can play whatever game at halftime, or there's drink deals. Some of that'll get some people in, but
like,
not enough.
I assume you're sitting there in the off season planning your promotions, going, "What will work in the rain?" Because we know it's going to be raining. But like this market has also gotten busy, man. The PWHL is here, the Black Bears are here, the Blackjacks are here.
Yeah.
You got 2 junior hockey teams here. Like you got the baseball team, the champions.
And you're facing, in a couple of years, a dramatically reduced football capacity when the north side get knocked down.
And I didn't mention both the Rapid FC and Atletico are here. Like it's a busy market, site. Man.
I live in a glebe, and when you go down to Lansdowne on like literally any day on the weekend, and like the flea market and the farmers market and the games going on, like it's awesome. It's an awesome place. But there's a lot of competition for it, and like. I don't know.
And if you suck for years,
I don't know if you've noticed this or heard anything about this, but the economy is
things are going poorly, hey?
So people have like more limited dollars than usual to spread around to their, entertainment pastimes,
Right.
including sports.
Yeah.
And so, like, what are you going to hitch your wagon to when you have to pick between, everything that's going on there? And, man, I love going to the Red Blacks games still, but, like, it's so hard to see that the numbers that are missing there, just because I've been there so much when it's been, the hardest ticket in town to get. It sucks. Like, all that's going to change it is figuring out how to
Gotta
make
win.
this team consistently win. You don't have to win the Grey Cup right out of the bat, but you have to have a.
This is all the same talk
You
about.
have to have an above 500 season
Sure.
and have like a run at the playoffs.
This is all the same conversations that we had about the Sens, right? They had terrible ownership, cheap management, like it was bad, and there was no reason to keep. And all of a sudden, attendance plummets. When all of a sudden there's a direction again, people stop complaining about Canada, right? People stop complaining about the high price of parking. It's suddenly worth it to go again because suddenly we suddenly have Shabbat and Sanderson and Stutzla and Tkachuk and Cousins and Greg and like all these kids come, not kids, but like it's a fun place to be again, and it mutes, as you said, some of that conversation.
And it's
as long as the Red Blacks stink.
Yeah,
it's hard because you are not the NHL. Like it's secondary.
It's a bigger hill to climb to the CFL too, because you can't count on player time in a city. Like,
you want to talk about
longevity? Like
what jersey number to get?
Right,
be careful, man.
It's so hard to
get your own name and walk away. Like it's.
And I remember arguing
90
with our previous GM Marcel when he was here, who I always love to argue with when we get into it. So, like, I use a complex man with different thoughts than I had sometimes about the promo strategy, but it was like we had players. Like, I'll give you a prime example. It's been a while,
sure.
And Marcel hasn't been here for a while, so I don't mind. But like Sherrod Baltimore,
great
one
dude,
of my favorite guys that have played there. And like, especially in his first few years, like just a baller. You could put him anywhere. He'd do anything. He'd never complain. And he was a marketing friggin' like a huge asset for us. And I remember Marcel telling me, like, don't overdo it with Sherrod, because Marcel every year couldn't decide if he wanted to cut Sherrod or not for no real reason other than I think he was popular. But it was just weird. It was always like, you're doing too much with Sherrod. I was like, I beg to differ. Like, this guy is so good in anywhere I drop him. And people love him.
Just
like,
genuinely likable guy.
And I've had a handful of players like that are just really, lots of great players and really good guys, but there's a select group of guys over the years that were just so, they just got it off the field. And so, like, you want those guys to have long-term contracts, but even if you sign a guy to 3 or 4 years in the CFL, like, maybe you got to, maybe he doesn't make it out of camp. Like, you never know. So,
of course,
it's really hard to A, market those guys, and B, convince someone to pony up, $150 or whatever to buy their jersey. And so it was always something where I was like, come on, like, you know what? Right now, these jerseys are selling well because he's awesome. So I'm going to keep putting him on the radio. Sorry.
Yeah. Like, just genuinely one of the most likable guys, right? Like,
the best. And
the sports side of it, if you have to trade him later, that's one thing. For right now, he's good for this franchise.
He had a great story. He had and he's retired now, but he's still in the city. He still has his own small business, and he runs his like charity camps for like underprivileged kids every year. And he's just like, and he's not from anywhere. He has the craziest story about his upbringing and like staying out of gangs and like some of the stuff he like dealt with back home, and like to be like, he has stories that he won't even talk about. He's like, I'm not a snitch. Like on the street back then, like, and he's such an interesting person. And he was just like the sweetest, warmest guy with kids and fans. And like, he just got it. And there was been a bunch of those, but those are the guys that I'm like, I don't care if he's here for 3 weeks. I'm going to get him out there because at least you got the logo and the brand out there. And for as long as that lasts, I'm going to jump on it. And, I don't tell you how to manage your football team, so let me handle the
You got to trade him, you trade him. For now, I'm going to pump this guy's tires.
Yeah.
We got to wrap this up. Time, as I said, is not our friend. We got like 2-3 minutes, man. If I give you the mic, if I give you a chance to pontificate, anything else on your mind before we wrap up? You watching the World Cup? You watch it?
I'm watching the World Cup. Yeah. Canada is not filling me with great confidence.
Suddenly we get to play South Africa instead of South Korea, and that seems to be we're playing the 58th ranked team in the world instead of like the 23rd ranked team.
Yeah,
in the
so
world
I'll take it. But no, it's great. I think you see it in the neighborhoods and the bars and the
fun,
restaurants.
man.
Like people
It's
are
just
so
fun.
into it, and you meet so many people from like. You realize I didn't realize like my local pub in the Glebe. Like I didn't realize how many British people live in Ottawa.
Right.
Until you're at a game when England or Scotland's playing, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, you're not just doing a fake English accent.
Scots
You're
have been
actually
so much
like
fun to watch
they're so
online,
good.
right?
It's one of the great stories. Like, there's not a lot of positive stories coming out of the States.
No, it's true.
But like seeing them take over Boston
Yeah.
and the Sox game and like drinking Sam Adams dry completely. It's,
Where was it
and how
last
everyone's
night?
just
The
putting a glass
Norwegians.
bagpipes at 7 a.m. and just everyone's gonna get into it, and all of a sudden we're all Scottish. I love that.
The Norwegians were at an MLB game last night, and they didn't have the chance to make quite the same impact. They weren't there as long. It wasn't Chicago, because Chicago wasn't. It must have been Kansas City, or it was somewhere in the Midwest. And just like dancing and singing and doing their own
it's so
chants.
fun,
and,
man.
like,
It's
it's just
like-
different. It's watching
and
other
Pete-
people
and-
experience North America.
Yeah, and the
right?
other and like the locals are loving it. Like it's
100%.
just it's all positive, and it's a cool thing to watch, even if you don't like soccer.
You get
I'm
swept
sorry.
up in it a little bit.
Football.
Yes. No, soccer is not high on my list of sports to watch, but I've been watching this, not just for the actual games, but the experience around it. It's just been really fun to...
Otherwise, man, life's been good. I had my second nephew was born about a month ago.
Yeah. Uncle
so
Hoff.
my brother
continues.
my brother and his like superhero of a wife have 2 little boys under 3 now and a male dog, and my sister-in-law still sticks around. So it's been super fun to see that whole dynamic play out and all the craziness that comes
It's great,
with that.
eh? Like,
it makes me both like overjoyed as an uncle and happy to be like blissfully childless.
similar vibe here. Yeah. Like, I don't think I could handle it 24/7, but like, my niece just had grade 8 grad. And but she is rapidly like, Uncle Matt is so uncool. And I used to be like one of her favorite people, but
You
now
gotta
she's
hang
like a
on to
teenager.
it.
And my nephew, though, he'll FaceTime me. He'll talk to me about sports. Like, he wants to talk hockey. He wants to talk soccer, which I know nothing about, but I'll pretend to.
Is he a Sens man?
Don't ask stupid questions. He also has a Nylander jersey. And on that note, we'll wrap up this edition of the Talk Audio podcast. Hoff, I know it's been a busy day for you that looked a little bit different than you thought it would. I appreciate you still finding some time to do this and working with me to sort through the tech issues that we had off the top, man. Always great to talk to you. And I will come knocking again throughout the summer, because I will be at the lake and be looking for some sucker to just talk to me
Please
online.
do.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, man. I always enjoy chatting with you and ranting with you and chirping you and whatever else we get up to on this. So I appreciate it.
Go, sweetie pie. That is this edition of the Talk Audio podcast. For Chris Hofley, my name is Matt Robinson. As I wrap it up before you can respond. See ya.